A typical day in the life of a global villager. There are people to see, meetings to make, deals to strike. So I'm going to need some pretty smart equipment to see me through it. Like this watch, for example. It may look like the sort of thing you get free with Tiger tokens, but this is in fact a highly sophisticated time management device. By pointing this little magic eye at the computer screen, I can upload my day's appointments to ensure that they're literally to hand whenever I need them. It's all a bit James Bond-like, and you sometimes wish Q would come along and explain how it all works. But there's a serious point to it. This growing assortment of fancy gadgetry is changing the nature of employment, life even. No longer will you go to work, work will come to you. Like cars, the great promise of information technology is that it will set us free. In the future, we will be computing, not commuting. No more desk, no more 9 to 5, no more you don't have to be mad to work here but it helps. Just these smooth, sleek machines with their elegant interfaces and silky bodywork. And ahead, the open information superhighway.
Then, CJ, usual producer's panic call. I need that script ASAP. I've got an 11 o'clock with the editor and he wants to talk about it before the 2:30 production conference.
The technology that promises to bring us this liberation is already a familiar sight on the Intercity and M25, and it's becoming ever more sophisticated. This is a GSM mobile phone. It's brand new and digital, which means you get a clearer signal and you can use it anywhere in Europe. And you can connect it to your laptop computer using one of these data cards, which means that wherever you are, be it the A3 from London to Portsmouth or the Autobahn from Berlin to Hamburg, you can connect your computer into the telephone system and exchange data. For example, you can use your word processor effectively to print your document direct to any fax on the end of a phone line.
Got the script, it's wonderful. Just one little thing, we need a location. See if you can find something for me, sweetie. Don't be late for the production meeting, 2:30 sharp.
And you're not confined to sending dull old faxes. You can connect direct into a company's network, do anything that anyone does on an office computer, if a bit slower, communicate with colleagues, fetch files, exchange electronic mail, even send pictures. This is just a beginning. Up there in the sky is a gathering flock of satellites, watching you, showering you in signals. Companies like Motorola are promising to create a new generation of satellite phones with global coverage. Soon you could find that no matter where you are, your phone calls and email messages will track you down just as surely as a tax demand or Reader's Digest prize draw offer. You can already use satellites to track yourself down. This innocuous-looking little black box is in fact a transceiver for a global positioning system. You simply bung it on your roof and it'll start to hunt you down. Originally developed to help tank drivers find their way around the deserts of Kuwait, it can now be linked to a laptop and used to navigate the home counties. The little icon represents your car, and together with a special map-reading program, you can use it to plot the most efficient route to your destination. However, GPS is not just about giving you the power to keep track of yourself. A less attractive application is its use by others who want to keep track of you.
You're obviously not going to make the start of the production meeting. You'll have to email your input direct to the co-producers in New York.
The ultimate dream of mobile computing is that all these technologies, the satellites, the global networking systems, the email, the laptops and palm tops, will combine to offer a whole new order of communication, all of it channeled through a light, smart, simple device that you barely notice having on you. They call them Personal Digital Assistants, or PDAs for short, and there have already been several stabs at building them. The most successful tend to be the least ambitious, something like this, a sort of portable data wallet. You can use it to store the information you need when you're out, things like figures, addresses, notes. A full-blown PDA, something like this, is a little too grandiose for its own good. It's hard to know what you can do with it that you couldn't do with a more modest version, or, perish the thought, pen and paper. Still, it's very clever. It can read your handwriting, and you can beam information to other PDAs via an inbuilt infrared ray gun. There's no question, it's lovely stuff. But it'll all have to go back, along with the car. The problem is that PDAs are still really toys, and eye-wateringly expensive ones. They're dream machines that remain unfulfilled. So let's dream a little. What would a truly personal portable computing device be like? That's the question British Telecom's research department tried to answer with this. It's the mobile communicator of the future. It's like a wristwatch on steroids. There's a keypad, of course, a pull-out touchpad, and a pop-up screen, which you can use to show your computer desktop or video conversations. What's this device actually do?
It's a mobile phone, it's a computer, it's a healthcare system. And perhaps if we look backwards, it's a little bit like the story of the transition of the carriage clock of 300 years ago, which eventually became a wristwatch. Now, that office that you go to, that office that you carry in your briefcase, has now made the same transition to become body furniture.
How are things like this going to change the future?
The future is about doing more with less, more work with fewer people, achieving more in a given lifetime. When am I not able to work? When I'm away from my office, or when my portable office is not plugged in. The downtime in my life is when I'm driving my car, walking in the street, or not being online. I have to be online more. I have to be able to make more use of the time that I have.
How real is all this sort of stuff?
What you're seeing now is a simulation of a situation that will be possible in about 5 years. All the technology to do what we're actually doing right now exists. All that is required is its integration, its bringing together, its marketing and its selling.
Well, that's the dream. Back in the real world, there are more mundane issues to consider. For example, packing several £1,000s worth of highly portable gear in your glove compartment means that you daren't ever leave your car. Then there's the batteries, those blasted batteries. They're made of lead, you need a brick hod to hump them around, and they keep running out. For the mobile worker, searching for a PowerPoint can be as desperate as searching for a public loo. But these, we're told, are just technicalities. One day, batteries will last, everyone will be wired, and there'll be adequate all-risks insurance cover. There are, though, problems that could prove harder to crack. Being in constant contact with work, I mean, there's no escaping it, at least if you're lucky enough to have it. You can turn your cell phone off, leave your email unread, but you don't know what you're missing. A job, some crucial information, an important meeting. The information superhighway is no less frustrating than the M25. It too has its rush hours, road closures and contraflows. One French philosopher, describing the age we live in, talked about the ecstasy of communication. Well, it can be agony too.